Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. And today, back to Gwenpool. That's where we're going. So Gwenpool, striking back. Real talk, I read this issue several days ago when it first came out actually, but I'm different now. I'm a changed person. I'm not the same after reading this. I said I would floss, and I will, even though I had to watch a YouTube tutorial to learn how to do it, because I'm that I'm that unhip. Yes. Hi, alternate camera setup here so you know that I really tried, but fun fact, I'm so uncoordinated I can't floss. Hooray! It's supposed to be like okay, you have to do a thing with your hips and it's like hip up, arm out, arm side, then your hips also going the other way at the same side, and I'm so uncoordinated that I can't do it. I can't dance at all. True fact. But if I could floss, it would be like a so hip. Ooh, I'm not seeing enough movement. I'm making references. Am I cool enough to have a mini-series now? Oh, can you imagine? I'm so embarrassing. This comic has broken me. This comic wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but she did kiss Reed Richards. The cover did deliver what it promised. This comic sent me on so many tangents. I apologize in advance. It's gonna get, are you ready to get far deeper than anyone probably wanted to or expected? Well then stay tuned. If you've ever found yourself utterly thrown through a loop by a comic, hit that like button. So last time we left Gwenpool, she was trying to give herself powers so that she could become a mainstream comic book character and not be erased from existence. She discovered that she had a new meta power, the ability to flash back to things that had already happened, so she could alter the universe and her own standing in it. Now we're back. This cover is good. We've been over this. The covers for this are just gorgeous to look at. So get ready to get meta. Get your reference goggles ready, get your topical gloves, apply your pop culture lenses, and let's get started. Right off the bat, it's interesting. It starts off with more meta text, and she's all, welcome back. But then goes, I have to prove I'm not like other comic book characters now, because I guess that's just what we're doing now. And instantly, I was in tangent hell. So now, so are you. Firstly, Gwenpool isn't like other comic book characters, outside of her name and her obvious visual inspirations, that is. She was created because of fan response to a variant cover, which is unique and cool to me, though not everybody likes that about her. Also, her origin in canon is that of a fan from our universe entering the comics with her knowledge intact and wreaking havoc. She's not like other characters. That's part of the appeal for people who like her, outside of those who just like her for the physical appearance. She's still a cosplay darling. Gwenpool is Gwenpool. She's not Deadpool, though she does share some traits with him, but she's much more aggressive about the meta-ness than Deadpool ever has been. Also, she appeared as a variant of both him and Gwen, so it's not odd for people to draw comparisons. This whole thing is most likely a reference to the not like other girls trope, which also especially tends to apply in comics, the need to prove that one isn't like other comic book fans, not fake nerd girls. So this is the idea that comic book fans, especially female ones, need to set themselves apart, which is a discussion worth having, but is Gwenpool the right character to start it off? Just because she's meta doesn't automatically make her the right choice. You can also have a discussion like this through allegory or metaphor or plot-wise, without coming out overtly stating it. Not all of the people who have problems with Gwenpool have them because they feel she's derivative. There's a whole lot of nuance happening here, though again some people will feel that she's the perfect person for it. I'm in tangent hell. Anyway, to prove she's not like other girls, characters, she kisses the camera and then sits on it. Here's my butt. All of this registered as fun to me, but I was trapped in the quagmire of my own mind, thinking about characters and other things. I'm often trapped there. It's dark. So then she recaps and lets us know what this miniseries is about and what she's hoping to accomplish. So what's a girl to do if she wants to broaden her fan base? Yup. So here we're trying to make a comment on the idea that all female comic characters have to be sexy or they get cancelled. However, as with most times, this argument only touches upon part of what is happening in comic book drawings and how characters are presented. As As with most times when this argument is made, it only touches partially on a particularly divided landscape, as almost all comic book characters are ludicrously attractive, and it's used as a selling point for all of them. The features highlighted are different at times, and can for males occasionally branch into more abstract attributes, such as bravery, but those things are still being used. There's a deeper discussion to be had here, is what I'm saying. This is a deep concept to just throw out there as a kind of throwaway line. It's just a haha, let's all laugh. I can't laugh, I'm in too deep. The thing is, Gwenpool appears to be looking for an immediate kind of girl, you're so right, I relate kind of response. So if you don't automatically have that and have fallen and tripped deep into the pit as I have, then it kind of sets you apart from this comic. There's a whole bunch of things to discuss here, or we could, but I'm just gonna quickly cliff notes them. Such as if we focus on only female characters who still get cancelled even if they clearly have sex appeal, then it becomes clear that sex appeal isn't everything. People don't just read for cheesecake. And then there's the discussion, is cheesecake wrong? Mileage varies. Is there different ways to implement it? Then you get into discussions of escapist versus representative spaces and the balance between. But that's enough of that. This comic isn't actually interested in having those discussions. Here's Deadpool on a poll. Subverting your expectations, except not really, because Deadpool loves to be on the pole. We know this. He gets down with his bad self. I don't think I'm supposed to be thinking about anything here this much, but I am. On the next page, Gwen proceeds to tell you that she's 19, and then lectures future writers and fans who would even think about pairing her or shipping her with Deadpool. Okay, so I'm a shipper. I have been for a long time. My other channel is called Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. I am very aware of the ins and outs of shipping cultures, the differences in the different areas, and also know all about being misrepresented, misinterpreted, and people taking no real time to learn what the subculture is actually about and just use it as a throwaway joke or as an attempt to prove that they're hip. I heard about a ship once. Yes. So let's talk about some stuff here. Again, the demographics of shippers are predominantly female, and they're the ones who are being drawn to some of those more out there, in quotation marks, pairings. There is an undercurrent of subtle shaming that appears to be, in my opinion, going on here. Why bring up her age so hard? Is it to shame people who think she's drawn attractively? Also, age in comics is a sliding scale. Yeah, her and Deadpool right now in canon would be squicky. Also, because she's a comic fan, so she should know to stay far away from Deadpool and all of that. However, in comics, ages change all the time. People are de-aged and aged up via crazy methods. Cable was raised in the future and came back an adult, and at times is older than his dad. Tony was a teenager for a bit because they had to get a past version of himself to kill the present one. Also, sometimes they just age, like how Reed and Sue's kids are teens now, or how over in DC, John Kent was hyper-aged in space. Damian turned 13 cause he's just aging. Sometimes comics acknowledge that time moves. It also does the same and brings people backwards when we need to revert to the status quo. So who knows, tomorrow Gwenpool could be 25, and maybe they'll do a story then, but also maybe they won't. Maybe they'll have other things, other love interests. This is just a very odd point to hit so hard, for me, in my opinion. It came across to me like this comic was assuming a lot about who was reading it, why, judging them, and finding them wanting. Or assuming the opposite, that the demographic would agree with everything said blindly without question. This opened up a way bigger discussion for me than it was probably supposed to. I know it was just looking for a yak, ew, ick, gross, who would do that, why? Those people are gross. I read a Wincest fic once and I was never the same again, and then I never went back to see if there was anything else involved in the subculture because they're obviously gross. A lot of feelings about how quickly people dismiss the shipping side and the transformative side of fan culture, while they'll more willingly accept other things that are just as equally involved and invested. We're all invested fans, we all like things, we're all creating things for the fanscape, for fun. Fun, remember that? Probably not with this video, I'm so sorry. This was probably supposed to be fun, but I don't know, I've been a shipper a long time. I've had a pretty good track record at telling when someone is laughing with me or at me. Anyways, 6 pages in and it's time for plot. They're in the basement of the Fantastic Four, where they're currently living on Yancey Street. This is so they can be closer to the people, and Reed can manipulate space anyway so they can have a house as big as they want. They need to sacrifice nothing. Reed's on this. That's a Reed compliment. My god, see, I'm a different person. So Gwenpool is here because she wants to seduce a member of the team so she can have an amazing cover and hence not be cancelled. This part is fun. Her and Deadpool, who yes is just in this issue, cause they find a bunch of Fantastic Four cardboard cutouts and go through the merits of seducing each one. There's another fun bit where Deadpool is like, don't you have a boyfriend? And she quickly texts Quentin Quire and breaks up with him via text. We are breaking up. Sorry, crying emoji. Youch, sorry, I'll flashback that breakup to a better point later. I hope so. The world can't handle an unhinged Quentin Quire, aka Kid Omega. Downside to seducing Reed. He's too tied to Sue. Downside to seducing Sue. She's too tied to Reed. What about you be the bisexual unicorn they've been looking for and seduce them both? Ha! The editors will never allow such a disruption into an A-list superhero marriage. They'd accuse me of skankifying their sacred cash cow. See, these sections are fun, and the meta-ness is tied to her character and also plays with her knowledge of comic book lore. Although, I'm about to be that person again. I am that person. She's supposed to be a comic book fan, so she should know that Marvel hasn't regarded the Fantastic Four very highly in years. They had actually canceled them at one point, canceled the first family of Marvel. There was a time when that would have been considered inconceivable. So Gwenpool, you're a bit out of date, but it's okay. You've been traveling the multiverse, a lot has been happening. So through shenanigans, she leans in to kiss Deadpool when he grabs Reed right as he walks into the door, so she ends up kissing him right on the lips. So yeah, the cover happened. And she also kissed all the cutouts, so the kisses on them on the cover also valid. So yeah, points for the cover. She got what she wanted. Oh, also, she was in Sue's old wedding dress when she kissed Reed. Just a fun fact. Sue, this isn't what it looks like. Yes it is, yes it is! Sue of course believes Reed, and the two discuss what they should do with these intruders and come to the conclusion that she's either a stalker or a crazed fan. I like that Sue believes that Reed has crazed fangirls. She really does love him. They of course already know who Deadpool is. So Reed wraps them up and is trying to take them out of the house. The kids peek out, so Sue says, "We just caught this troubled couple breaking into the basement." We're not a couple. See, that made me chuckle. It would have actually made me laugh if they hadn't just stopped the issue a few pages ago to be like, she's 19, you disgusting pig. Am I triggered? Is this what being triggered feels like? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. All the stuff of them fighting the Fantastic Four is great, especially Ben just giving up and going back to bed, just noping right out. He's like, no, there are more important things in life than whatever this is. That leaves them with Sue. Well, it leaves Gwenpool with Sue because Deadpool is tying Reed to a pole. That sounded wrong, but it's what happened. And Sue is the scariest member of the Fantastic Four. I don't know who you are, or why you decided to break in and assault my husband, threaten us, and proceed to wreck our home, but you messed with the wrong woman, little girl. I'm 19. I've defeated Dr. Doom. Big whoop, so have I. And you also, Why, you little... Thankfully, Reed engulfs her with his body before Sue can kill them. Something Sue could do. Sue could make your head explode. He gets Deadpool in there too. And so the two proceed to have a meta chat about how this is her second issue and he wants to know what she did for her first. How is she upping the ante? However, it stops being fun and games when he learns that she unmasked Spidey. And you know how Deadpool feels about Spider-Man. If you don't, Deadpool loves Spider-Man. He has a crush, he's obsessed, he wants to be his friend. Nobody is messing with Peter. He doesn't know he's Peter. That's just me saying that. Also, Gwenpool is bummed because Reed and Sue call the cops and not the Avengers, so she feels she hasn't moved up enough in the importance chain. Deadpool, however, is so angry about all of this that he pulls a gun and the issue ends. These issues all just end so far very abruptly. It's like, oh, okay. We're done? Where to begin? Okay, so this isn't what I thought it was going to be, but first let's talk about what it was. Like last time, I really liked the in-universe interaction stuff. The Fantastic Four moments, golden. However, the meta-ness is really going to depend on how you like your meta content. If you like your meta more in-universe, like how Deadpool does it, by referencing, say, Ryan Reynolds or pop culture, then this may be too far, as this is more hinting at societal trends / low-key lecturing you at times. For me, anyway, I just felt that there was baseline assumptions of grossness from the reader. Did you get that vibe, or is that just purely a me thing? I really want to know. Please share. I like hearing the different reads that people get because we're all coming from different places and different subject positionings and different amounts of comics that we've read, so it really makes a difference. I want to hear. Some of you may have absolutely loved this and felt like Gwenpool was spot on, preaching the gospel. You go, girl. I will never say that again. For me, it was flippantly presenting big ideas that it never fully intended to actually tackle. It didn't have the space to unpack them and so packaged them as jokes. But the jokes for me didn't land. Potentially if they had landed, I would feel differently. Can't just blindly agree with anything. Not that person. Also, does this mean that Gwenpool is supposed to be a reliable narrator? Because she isn't. So some of my disappointment in this admittedly came from my own expectations and where I thought it was going. And I fully admit that. No hiding anything here. So what was I expecting? Well, I thought she was going to use her powers to write herself into all the key big moments in Marvel history. She was going to set off the gamma bomb that created the Hulk. She was going to give Spider-Man his black costume. She was going to mess up the experiment for Dr. Doom's face, and all of it she was going to do with her whole Gwenpool, you're welcome, and the whole thing was going to play on her as a comic fan, her comic knowledge, manipulating the Marvel verse. Like a Gwenpool kills the metaverse kind of thing. So she would just have been trying to make herself as important as possible. Sort of like a comedic take on the introduction of Robert Reynolds, the Sentry. How he was a character who had always been there but had been forgotten. And then the mini could end with everybody begging her to please just stop. The writers and her could have a conversation. She could force them to give her her own series or make her a permanent member of a team or something like that. And then the universe would return to the status quo, so none of it would have really mattered, so it would have been fine. You could have gone as zany as you wanted, and Gwenpool would have gotten what she wanted. Which could still happen. I mean, this is only issue 2, but it's 2 of 5. Gotta hurry up. There's not a lot of time. I'm feeling time pressure. So for me, basically it would have been story first, meta elements second as an accent to the story, where this felt, more to me at least, meta elements first, story second. Issue 2 is about the quest for the cover of issue 2. And if you love that type of meta, you'll love this. I didn't hate it, even though this probably made it seem like I did. I will read from page 7 onward anytime again, gladly. So what did you think? I need opinions. I need them. Help me. Send help. Did you love this issue, or did you feel like it had an undertone? Do you hope that Gwenpool gets her own series? Don't worry, I'll be back for issue 3. I need to know. I'm invested at this point. You never know. Issue 3 could make issue 2 brilliant. That's the beauty of a series. Anything can happen. Don't burst my bubble. I need my happy. Also, I know I've said it many times, but again, you don't need to agree with me. That's the beauty of discussing things on a channel like this. We can just talk. That's the fun of being a fan. You can be a fan of something and not like everything about it. It doesn't make you less of a fan to have questions or concerns or think about things. And with all of that said, thanks so much for watching Casually Comics, especially if you made it all the way through the end of all of that. You are a trooper. Have a digital cookie. Please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. The next one will not be like this. I mean, unless you liked it, then it will be. Anyway, I'm Sasha and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.